Hello, my name is Dante Alaman. I'm from OctoberPanicAttack.com, and today I'm going to tell you about Winding Brook Farm. WindingBrookFarm.com. We came across this place by accident, by surprise, because the attraction we were supposed to go to this year, Festival of Fears, was closed down because of the hurricane damage. And we found WindingBrookFarm.com. Never knew this place existed before. It's off of 611 on the way to Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And you would never see it from 611, so you got to kind of make that turn into the darkness. And this place is, in fact, physically dark. The parking lot is very dark. The grass is the longest grass I've ever seen, so you're going to be trudging through it. It's going to be hard to almost drive through to park there. It's very, very dark. But as you see ahead of you, you can see the ticket booth. You can see this humongous mechanical Jason next to the ticket booth there. And then beyond, you see this humongous field, and the smell of bonfires is ridiculous. I've never had such a strong bonfire smell before in my life. And you'll see, at least we saw about 10 or 11 bonfires in a row all the way to the right side of this field. There were a good number of people accumulating at this place, so I would recommend that you get there early. Now, one of the things that we noticed right off the bat is the fact that we've never seen an attraction with people this young before. Now, typically you'll see a lot of teenagers, right, and parents and stuff like that, but this one seemed like mostly pre-teens and younger. I mean, I'm not talking about, but pre-teens, I would say, 10, 11, stuff like that. And so we were a little bit taken back by that at first. We're like, oh, gosh, this is, maybe we went to the wrong place, is this just for families, what's going on here? And like I said before, you're smelling the bonfires. It's really, really dark. I mean, you could like trip and fall on the way to the ticket booth. I mean, it's pretty crazy. We finally get our tickets, really reasonably priced. It's just 2 attractions. Don't get confused though, because they have these multiple haunted combo tickets. You just want to make sure that you're getting the Cornwalk of Horror and the Night Chills Haunted Hayride. That's what you want to make sure you're getting, those 2. Don't get confused, because it sounds like they have other combos, okay? So finally, you make your walk up, and you see all these food booths up on the side, like numerous food booths. And there's like a whole booth, or should we say shacks. There's a whole shack just for soft pretzels, a whole shack just for funnel cake, a whole shack. We unfortunately did not get a chance to eat, but we saw all the food and smelled all the food. There was also a DJ with everybody dancing, and like I said before, the grass is very long. When you do Winding Brook Farm, you are getting the true outdoor experience. Make sure it's a great fall weather night. Make sure it's not raining. The capacity for mud could be great. We went after it rained, or a couple days after it rained, and the mud was still there. But so you want to know that. But you're getting the ultimate outdoor experience when you go to Winding Brook Farms. You are really outdoors. Right off the bat, I mean, you're going to see a lot of weird actors that don't look typical, almost a little too friendly, and then a couple weird props and weird directions to get to the attractions. This was like the one place where we didn't know where the heck we were going, so we had to ask people. So we're like, does anybody know where the Hayride is? Does anybody know where the Cornwalk of Terrors? Where are we? We finally got directions to go to the Hayride, but it was so crazy. We wound up in this maze, and we didn't know, and then we could have just walked around the other side, and it would have been easier. It was wild, but the people that were working there were telling us to do the little maze thing. Crazy, 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 crazy. So the weirdest directions by far to get to the actual attractions, and you will be a little bit confused, but that's all part of the pleasure, right, of Halloween, to be confused. So we finally decided to do the Hayride first, because we figure Hayrides will have the bigger lines, so on and so forth. And what we encounter was something we've never encountered before. To wait to get on the Hayride, we were actually sitting down, not standing in line, sitting down on these almost like barrels of hay in circles. So we were in this circle with all these preteens, talking, laughing, joking with them, telling them that we went to their school and stuff like this. Little did they know that we were 4 times their age. But they make you sit in these circles, almost like you're at a Moroccan restaurant or something. So you're kind of forced to talk to these people in these circles before you board on the Hayride. It's really bizarre. When you actually get on the Hayride itself is pretty much your standard type hay. It's a pretty big hayride, but there's tons of thick hay. The same way the grass is really thick in the parking lot, there's tons of really thick hay on this hayride. So much so that one of the teenagers actually buried herself in the hay for the duration of the hayride because she didn't want to look at anything. So we get on this hayride. It's a cold night, awesome night. And one of the biggest things that we noticed first was that the woman who was driving the tractor had no headlights, no lights, no music, nothing. Now, right off the bat, darkness is a big theme here, folks, because the first at least 10 minutes to 15 minutes of this hayride, we were in complete darkness. We couldn't see the people across from us in the hayride at all, our friends or anything. And what happened was everybody was just having a wild time on the hayride. We're laughing with the kids. We're joking around. Everybody's going crazy. We're screaming and yelling, and I can't even see my hand that well. You are deep, dark into the woods. I want you to understand that. You're really deep, dark into the woods here. And, you know, to some people this would be looked at as really, really boring because there was nothing going on for the first 10 to 15 minutes. I, on the other hand, thought it was really atmospheric, really creepy, really got you into the moment, that is fall. Most of the time nowadays, the hayrides are just multimedia, sensory overload. But this reminded me of the hayrides I used to go to when I was a kid, where they would kind of start off and you're just in the deep, dark woods. Now, we had no idea how the heck this driver could see where in the world she was going, because when I mean dark, it was dark, and I couldn't even tell how she knew what path to go on. And then she's actually taking these dips into like small lakes and rivers. The water looked like it was like 3 to 4 feet deep, and we're going into this. Definitely felt a sense of danger. If you were bored for a second, you definitely then all of a sudden escalated to danger. Okay? And then once things started to happen, it was, you know, very low budget, homemade type of stuff. Reminded me a little bit of Wicked Woods from Maryland. But at the same time, you thought you kind of see the low budget nature. The actors are pretty intense, and you're seeing a couple little things here and there, like a couple really interesting things. And then all of a sudden, there's like really disturbing things kind of mixed in here. Lots of mannequins, like really disturbing things with mannequins. Lots of child actors, but really, really disturbing situations, like a child being pulled off his bed and killed, you know. The only hayride I've been on that's in the darkness, I saw actual real mountains. You know, it looked like they were going to envelop you, or a volcano or something real. You know, very, very spooky, very fall. We had a blast. I was losing my voice because I was screaming and talking to everybody on the hayride so much. And it was definitely one of the longest hayrides I've ever been on. I mean, you're going to spend a good amount of time on this hayride. This is probably one of the longest hayrides I've ever been on, to be honest with you, for the whole season, is the Winding Brook Farms hayride. You know, you want to go in for the duration. You're not doing this hayride to look for, you know, lavish things and crazy, you know, like real, you know, Disney World horror ride type stuff. I mean, you're not going to get the Creamy Acres thing. You're not going to get the Field of Screams thing. But what you're going to get is something completely different, completely original. You know, if you're looking for that stuff, this is not the hayride for you. I, on the other hand, really, really enjoyed. I almost felt like this hayride, out of all the hayrides I've been to this year, gave me the most of a fall feeling. Like I ultimately felt when I was on this hayride that, yes, this is the month of Halloween. This is October. And they'll surprise you, you know, you're on this hayride. You know, right when you think you got it figured out, all of a sudden you see a teenage stripper. You know, they'll surprise you, you know. All of a sudden you'll see this humongous monster with, you know, legs in his mouth. And tons of mannequins once again, folks. The hayride I thought it was awesome. You know, very, very atmospheric. And then you get the ride back, which is just like the ride there. Complete darkness, puddles, lakes. The hayride is actually like turning like this. It feels really unsafe. The driver looks like she's going to go off the path at any moment because she can't see anything because she has no headlights. But if you're looking for a hayride that'll make you really feel like it's fall, go on with a bunch of people you like and meet new people on the hayride. Relive your youth a little bit and talk to the younger people on the hayride and scream and have a great time. And experience darkness on a hayride. Simplicity, atmosphere, weirdness, disturbing stuff, and just plain fun. Now from here we went on to the corn maze, And, before we got to the corn maze, we noticed just some awesome actors that were outside that were staring us down. You're really going to find some diamond-in-the-rough actors at Winding Brook Farm. So really, kind of look forward to that. Great characters. Even the actor that welcomed us into the corn maze. This is not actually a maze, folks. This is a corn walk. Okay, so this is not actually a maze. And they do have a maze there, but it's really for children. It's not haunted, but it's an actual real maze. But this is a corn walk, and as they say, it's more for the adults. And the characters in this corn walk, you would never suspect that there were a lot of preteens in this place because they were pretty edgy and pretty racy. Actually, more so than most of the corn walks that we've done this entire season so far. A little off-color stuff. And maybe it's depending on the age of the group, but they were... let's just say the actors in this corn walk really get you involved and really say some pretty shady things, and it's freaking hilarious. And the stuff that they, interact with these actors, because the more you interact with them, the better it's going to be. Don't be obnoxious. Just interact with them, because they're really going to get you involved, and you're going to be shocked at some of the stuff that they're saying. One of the actors actually told one of the people in our group something to the effect to grow some balls, and that they were making fun of their mother and told them to do push-ups. I mean, it was ridiculous. Anyway, all this stuff is homemade once again in this corn walk. Really reminded me of Wicked Woods in Maryland. It's all homemade. This is extremely long, just like the Hayride. Really, really long. Really getting your money's worth. If some of the group didn't like the Hayride, but they loved the corn walk. So that gives you a little bit of idea. Really, really dark, muddy. You're in the stalks. This is one of those corn walks where you actually feel like you're lost in these stalks. And at some points, you kind of lose the path a little bit. You don't even know where the path is. The houses are insane. You're going to enter into a lot of houses in this corn walk. And lots of detail, disturbing. Once again, look out for those disturbing things. This is the first corn walk where I actually heard the Killer Clowns score music from the movie. Tons of actors. The actors jump out at you in a totally unique way for a corn walk that I've seen before, where they actually come out of nowhere from within the stalks. Really weird. There's a hodgepodge of everything. I mean, and then when you finally get to like the last section, it is the most amazing cabin house, disturbing, detailed, crazy thing. Lots of jump scares in this place, lots of weirdness, lots of physical darkness. Great actors in the corn walk. Winding Brook Farm, the season's almost over, folks, and Winding Brook Farm is, I would say, a diamond in the rough. If anything that I said to you, a lot of you guys ask me, what should I go to? What should I go to? You watch this review, right? If you like what you heard, then do Winding Brook Farm. This is not like any other attraction we've been to this year, and to some of you, you might find it not intense enough or not enough or whatever, but then to the rest of you who liked what I said in this review, I love this place. I counted this as one of my favorite nights of the season so far. It was fun, it was creepy, it was scary, and it was just plain bizarre. WindingBrookFarm.com. Get the combo for 2 of them. The Corn Walk of Terror and the Night Chills Haunted Hayride. Right there, folks. It's a great price. There's great food. There's music. There's preteens that'll make fun of you, and you can make fun of them back and have a jolly good time. It's dark. It's cold. It's dark. Did I say it was dark? And it's almost slightly unsafe. It's awesome. Winding Brook Farm.